Welcome to the third day of multiples. So our learning target is I can determine if a number is a multiple of a given number. Okay, so student understand your success criteria. Student understands that multiples are the result of the given number being multiplied. Student understands that multiples will move over, meaning they get bigger. And student is able to determine if a number is a multiple of a given number. So, what are multiples? We've only been talking about this forever. Multiples are the numbers that I get when I multiply my given number. So let's say I am given the number 5 by any other number. So 5 times 6 would give me 30. 30 is a multiple of 5, okay? And how are they different from factors? Factors fall down, meaning they get a little bit smaller, right? And multiples move over. Again, down here for my example, it's a 2 and a 6, not a 26. For my factors, but now it just looks like there's a 1 in the middle. Anyways, but factors get smaller and multiples move over, meaning they get bigger. Factors are the two numbers that I'm multiplying by. Multiples is when I'm multiplying that big number or that number I'm given by any other number. Okay, so quick check. Do multiples get bigger or smaller? Please tell me you got this. We've only been doing it every single day. Hopefully you said they get bigger, Miss R. Okay, yeah. Now, we are going to determine if these numbers are multiples of the number we're asked about, okay? So the reason we're doing this is because oftentimes when we are given test questions, we all of a sudden freak out, even though we know the answer. We know our multiples by now. So this should be a piece of cake, okay? So which of the following are multiples of 6? Now there might be multiple answers, hint, hint. So I do need to make sure that I am checking all of these. So, which of the following are multiples of 6? Well, I can start by counting by 6. I can look at my times tables to make sure that yes, 6 goes into these numbers. So I'm going to look at 12. Well, 6 times something give me 12. So I'm just going to start. 1 times 6 equals 6. 2 times 6 equals 12. Yep, I have a 12. So this is a multiple. So I'm going to circle it. Now I'm not sure about this 34. Right? So I'm just going to keep multiplying. 4 times 6, what does that equal? Oops, I forgot 3 times 6. I feel like 3 might be important later on, so I'm just going to add that in there. 3 times 6, 3 times 6. Well, it's going to be 6 more than 12, so I'm going to get 18, okay? And then 4 times 6, I'm going to get what would that be? That would be 24 if I doubled that 12, right? 5 times 6 equals 30. Oh, I'm getting close to this 34. 6 times 6 equals 36. Okay, well, 34 is not 36. I passed 34, so that's not a multiple. Bye-bye. What about 27? Well, I'm looking on here, and I did my times table, and I got to 24, but I skipped 27, meaning it's not a multiple. So bye-bye 27. What about 36? Well, yes, because I found 6 times 6 equals 36. So I'm going to circle my answer, okay? So let's look at this next one. And this next one, I made it hard. So go ahead and write down these numbers, and we're going to determine if they are multiples of the number 2, okay? So I want you to think to yourself, is 1 a multiple of the number 2? It's a factor, not a multiple, because multiples move over. It's too small. It's smaller than my 2, so bye-bye, okay? What about 2? Well, if I start multiplying, 1 times 2 equals 2. So 2 is a multiple. It's also a factor, fun fact. Okay, now I'm going to look at 3. Well, 2 times 2 gives me 4. I skipped that 3, so 3 is not an option. What about 144? Now, before you go and do an entire times tables, what do we know about 2's? They create even numbers, right? So is 144 even? Yes. So instead of doing 5 million times tables or multiplication problems, I can just say, yeah, because I know that fun fact about my 2's. And 7, well, 7's an odd number. Also, if I do 3 times 2, I'm going to get 6, not 7. So bye-bye 7. What about 10? Well, yeah, because 5 times 2 equals 10, right? So that one actually had 3 answers. Go ahead and write down your 1, 5, 13, 12, 11, and 95. And above it, write your 5 because that's what we're trying to figure out for this next one. Which of the following are multiples of 5? So I'm going to start thinking about this. Well, is 1 going to be a multiple? Well, 1 is smaller than 5, and multiples move over, meaning eventually it gets bigger. So no, by 1. I don't even have to think about you. Now I have 5 next. Is 5 going to be a multiple? Yeah. 5 is going to be a multiple of 5. It's also a factor of 5. Fun fact. What about 13? Well, I know that trick too for 5s. I could sit here and do all my times table, which if you don't know, this is what you should do. But you could also say, well, I know 5s always end in a 5 or a 0, and 13 does not end in a 5 or a 0, so it is not a multiple. Also, I skipped it in my times chart here. What about 12? Skipped that one too. What about 11? Skipped that one too. What about 95? I could keep multiplying for a while, or I could say, well, it ends in that 5, so I'm gonna circle it. Hey. Now let's look at the next one. So you are going to pause the video in just a second and decide which of the following are multiples of 10. Think about what you know about 10. Go ahead and pause the video if you haven't already. Well, first things first, multiples move over, meaning they get bigger. So if it is not bigger than 10 or 10 itself, I'm going to cross that sucker off because it does not belong. So bye-bye 1, bye-bye 5, bye-bye 2. Those are all factors, not multiples. And then what about this 10? Well, multiples move over, but they also start at that number, right? Because 1 times 10 is going to give me 10. So it is a multiple. Next, I have 30. So if I don't know off the top of my head, which I probably should, I can do my times table here just to double check, and I'm going to find that 3 times 10 equals 30, so I know that's correct. Oh, and then I have a 32 I don't know, so I'm going to double check. 4 times 10 equals 40. Oh, no, I skipped that 32, so that's not a multiple. That one only had 2 answers. Now, you are going to, in the second, pause the video and see if which one of the following are multiples of 12. Is it 1, 2, 6, 12, 36, or 48? Or multiple of them? We'll see. So go ahead and begin. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video. You're done. Now let's look at this, okay? Well, I can start by crossing off anything that is smaller than 12. Bye-bye 1, bye-bye 2, bye-bye 6. Okay, so now I have 12, 36, and 48. So I'm just going to start multiplying by these numbers. Well, 12 until I get to these numbers or get above them. Okay, so 12, yep, that's going to be a factor. What about 2 times 12? What would that get me? It gets me 24. I'm close, but I'm not quite at that 36, so I'm going to keep going. 3 times 12 equals, well, it's going to be 12 more than 24. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. 36. Okay, here we go. Here's another multiple. And what about 4 times 12? Again, I could just add 12 more to my 36. So 2 plus 6 is going to be 8. And 1 plus 3 is going to be 4. Oh, look at that. 48 is also a multiple. Okay. Now, I want you to pause the video and complete the next problem, which is, which of the following are multiples of 15? 5, 3, 10, 15, 30, or 45? Okay, hopefully you found the answer and you started off by thinking, well, anything less than 15 is not going to be an answer. So by 5, by 3, by 10. Now I'm left with 3 possible options. So I'm going to start with 1 times 15. That equals 15. Oh, that's a multiple. 2 times 15. Well, I could just add 15 plus 15 if I don't know what it is off the top of my head, and I will get 30. That's an answer. And if I don't know what 3 times 15 is, I'm just going to add 15 to 30, and I will get 45. Oh, that's another answer. So that one also had 3 answers. Okay, now here's your exit ticket. So the first question is, do multiples get bigger or smaller? The second question is, which of the following are multiples of 11? 1, 11, 55, 67, or 23? Hint, hint, there are 2 answers. And this time I'm sure about it. I know some of my other videos I have messed up on that, but this time I'm 100% sure. And my third one you're going to answer is, which of the following are multiples of 3? 1, 6, 36, 12, or 71. And this one actually has 3 answers that are correct. Okay, so once you found that out, you're going to Zoom your teacher with your answers, and we're going to check them. If you have any questions, please contact myself or Mr. Davis.